Welcome everybody to another edition of Kevin's Commentary. Today our guest is the outstanding coach of Wyoming volleyball, Chad Callihan. Cowgirls off to a great start, and I know, Coach, you don't deal with streaks. That's you like them, but it's not what you want to deal with. So you've got two different teams that put that streak together. It's 14 in a row, I'll say it. But last year's team won the last 7. This year's team has won the first 7. Different makeup, different chemistry. Is that how you look at it?
Yes. Yeah, 2013 was a great year for us in terms of how we finished that season. It was neat to see that group come together after some early struggles. Just took a little while to get settled in and get comfortable with our systems and our expectations. And 2014 is a new team, new personnel, new personalities. I'm glad that we're off to a good start. But we've got we've still got a lot of work to do, and we're still developing. We've got room to grow as a program.
You know, last year's team, and you and I had talked about this, it seemed at one point, and you felt this would happen, but it clicked on to them. They understood what you expected from them and what you wanted to get done. And was there a time prior to that streak beginning that you kind of felt like they were starting to understand what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like any program trying to change a few things. You see it from time to time. It was just that consistency. We weren't able to sustain it over the long haul, and we would even see it through the course of matches. You know, we'd play a set or two strong, and then you'd see some of those things pop up that we were trying to change. It just took some time, and I think by the end of the season, we had those kids playing pretty freely. They were able to go out and not overthink the game and just react and play. And you know, when you're doing that, the game becomes easy, and it was fun. I think the kids were really enjoying themselves at that point in the year.
And of course, you knew what situations you needed to bring new people into, what areas, and you recruited some outstanding young women. How are they fitting into this now? And after the other, some of the leaders of the team have been with you a year, are they helping those young kids?
Yeah, I think our returning core group has done a very nice job of bringing in the new kids and trying to get them acclimated and feeling comfortable within the system and just within the university. You know, this is such a big transition for a 18-year-old to go away from home and, you know, for anybody going off to college, but to be an athlete and have the rigors that we deal with, especially being in the fall season and hit the ground running as soon as you get here. I think our older kids have done a good job. Our new kids have fallen right in place here. They're learning the system. I think they're feeling pretty comfortable right now. Lily Austin has taken over the libero position for graduated Becky Stewart, who was an all-conference kid, and it's been really neat to see Lily step in. She's incredibly nervous every match, but she doesn't show it in her game, and it's been fun to watch her kind of take the reins of that role, and she's done really well with it. Our other kids have seen some time here and there, and we just look for them to continue to get comfortable. We'll be leaning on them heavily as we move forward.
Of course, you mentioned your core veteran group. Talk a little bit about those young ladies.
Well, I think it starts with our senior Erin Kirby and Whitney Smith. They've done a good job day in and day out in the practice gym of trying to keep us motivated. Erin, she's off to another hot start this season. Has really improved as an overall player. You know, she's always been a pretty good defensive player, but she's really made great strides offensively, and she's somebody that we can get the ball to in critical times, and we feel like we can score with her. That's put a lot of stress on our opponent. In the past, they just had to worry about maybe going pin to pin, and Erin has allowed us to hold their middle a little longer, which has created gaps and seams for our pin attackers. I think that Bridget Shanahan is an all-conference kid. She's going to have a fantastic year and is already off to a great start, ranked nationally in some different categories. Laura Beach, Kayla Slofkas, Courtney Chacon are all sophomores. Courtney's taken over the setting role and has done a fantastic job leading this group. She puts up a consistent ball, incredibly athletic, gets to a lot of balls that other setters just can't get to. And then Laura and Kayla have really just evolved into very good volleyball players for us. I wish I'd have known it a year ago because, you know, that just the growth that we've seen out of them was probably more than we even expected. But it's really allowed us to play at a high level here early in the season.
You know, we had a chance to talk in the summer when you came back from your European trip, and I was curious, right now, can you see the benefit of that trip and In what areas do you see how much that helped this current team?
I think Europe was great for us. I think it allowed us to gain some chemistry. It gave us a few extra weeks to continue to train and work together, but it allowed us to play some teams at a high level, and I think we gained some confidence from that. Kayla Henderson, who's starting for us on the right side right now, she didn't have the greatest trip in Europe in terms of her play, but it allowed her to see what she needed to work on. And we were able to talk and say, hey, these are the areas you need to improve, and it gave her June and July and the beginning of August to try to work in those areas, and she came back a better player. And I think just being exposed to some of that over in Europe allowed her to improve, and now she's playing at a really high level for us.
There's many times where we wish this building was a lot bigger, but it is some kind of an atmosphere, and I know it's a great help to the team. Had a great tournament last week here, standing room only. I would assume it'll be the same for this week. What do you want to get out of this upcoming tournament on the weekend?
I just think we want to continue to play well. We've got areas that we need to improve. I would like to see us play a little better in front of that electric crowd this weekend. I think that we got a little overexcited since it's our first taste of that environment, and maybe we created some unforced errors just due to our excitement. So I expect us to manage that a little bit better this weekend. Hopefully it has a much larger impact on the opponent than it does on us this week. Our fans are fantastic. I hope they enjoy the production that we're putting on. I think that the team is playing at a pretty high level right now, and hopefully they're enjoying what they're seeing and continue to come back. For our group, we just want to continue to build. We saw some things in week 2 that we need to improve upon. It's been nice that we've actually got 4 days to train this week and try to fix some of those deficiencies. And hopefully we're just, when Friday comes, we're just playing at a high level again. That's the goal.
I know you don't want to talk about all that much, and it's difficult sometimes, but you have a winning streak going, and you probably are sitting there going, well, we're not going to win every one of them. You want to win every one of them, but you might not. How do you deal with the kids in this regard? Do you talk to them much about it? Is it necessary to talk about it?
We don't talk about it at all. What streak?
Yeah.
We're just focused on our next opponent, and we've tried to instill that from day one. We get into scouting reports, and we have Gonzaga on Friday night, but on our scouting report they're just listed as opponent 8, and we don't really talk about what we've done against the previous 7. It has no indication of how we're going to perform on Friday. So we're just preparing, and we're going to come out and try to play at a high level. And we've got 6 or 7 goals that we like to try to attain. We believe if we hit enough of those goals, then the result will take care of itself. And that's really what we're playing against. We try not to get caught up in who's across the net from us. I think in the past we had a tendency to get up for some teams and have a little bit of a letdown against others. And I just don't think we can build a championship program with that attitude. So we've really tried to just mentally change that culture a little bit. And we're going to be even keel, and we're going to approach every match the same. And hopefully it bodes well for us. It has so far. That
being said, Coach, do you look at the league? You probably know, you don't want the kids to, but you know what the league's all about. And as you've looked at it early on, is it about as difficult as you thought it would be, having not played one yet, but looking at scores and how the opponents are competing in the league?
It's a great league, and I think the top half is particularly strong this year. I think that Colorado State, obviously, year in and year out, puts a great program out there. I think New Mexico poses a ton of problems. They're probably as physical as anyone in the league this year. Utah State finished 3rd last year, and they have just about everybody back. They're off to a good start again. Boise State is a team that I think will do very well. And the academy, Matt McShane, the coach down there, has done a fantastic job building that program, and I think they're going to turn a lot of heads this season. So night in and night out, you have to be prepared. And again, that kind of goes back to us just trying to instill in these kids that we're going to perform the same way regardless of opponent, because everybody can beat us on a given night if we're not ready.
Well, you have something really good going, and everybody's excited about it. A big tournament this weekend. We asked everybody to come to the UniWyo starting Friday, and they're going to see some outstanding competition. Coach, good luck. Off to a great start. Keep it going.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Chad Callihan, Cowgirl volleyball coach. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. We'll see you next time.